Can everybody hear me out there? Uh, my co-host Drew had plans tonight, and apparently so did Connie. I haven't heard from him. I don't know what he's doing. Um, can I get a 5x5 if everyone can hear me? I can never tell if the microphone's working properly. We're just gonna wing it a little bit and see if Connie shows up. Um, well, I was gonna talk about a couple different things today anyway. Um, I actually wanted to know how Connie was doing, and I'm starting to think maybe he's not doing well. He was in that car accident not long ago, and I'm guessing that's why there's some sort of problem. Maybe, don't know. Um, well, I guess we can just go ahead and wing it a bit. Um, I have, I've had some stuff going on that I don't know. Maybe somebody else can sort of chime in and let me know if they feel the same way. But anybody else have the feeling that like something is going to be happening soon? I think the mic's working. Um, it's like some weird stuff going on. I don't quite understand a lot of it. It's just like a very strange, how do I put it? Like there's something coming, either from the government aspect or something. I don't really know. Um, it's just very strange where it feels like there's something about to go on. I see a lot of like weird indicators and stuff that people talk about the uh solar, what do they call that? Solar flares or something like that that are supposed to take stuff out. Um, I think it's important. I mean, I've said this before and I'll say it again, but I think it's important to have a backup plan. Like I'm an electrician and I work for the power company in Ohio right now. I don't even live in Ohio. I have to travel there. But uh what I tend to see most often is that the power grid is extremely fragile. It's more fragile than I think anybody can ever even imagine. Most people don't pay attention. They don't have any real understanding. They don't really know what's going on with it. But during COVID, we don't make anything in the United States anymore. Transformers, all kinds of stuff. We don't make anything here. So when COVID happened and the boats stopped coming in, uh, there was no transformers, like literally none. Um, and as the yards that used to keep them, they're sort of like backups. Somebody hits a pole, something happens, transformer blows up. Um, they go to the yard, they get the backup transformers. So they they weren't there. They weren't coming in off the boats, and they were scrambling to get them, and it happened really quickly. Um, I bring that up just because nobody really understands, no matter how many times I say this, that there the grid is so fragile, and it's based on a whole lot of, hold on. Yes, yes. And it's still a backlog as we speak. There's a backlog now when you get into the higher end, 3, 4, anything over 3 gang meter sockets, anything other than like your average um, household that needs an electrical service. Anything, you sometimes we waited for 6 months last year just to get the equipment to put on a residential building that had 6 units in it. It wasn't available anywhere. And I'm talking about nationwide. It just wasn't available. My point of trying to say all that is actually, I mean, the point of me bringing this up is because I wasn't prepared in any way to not have a guest. And so I'm just blabbing away. I'm blapping, blapping. And, but I mean, I think it's a valid point because today, I seen stuff arc out on the job. I'm always surprised to see how people don't pay attention to their electrical service on the outside of their house. I'm just always thoroughly shocked. Some of them are just hanging off of the house, like literally hanging, like the wind blows and it bounces around. Um, it'll never cease to amaze me that that is a thing and that nobody's paying attention to what's going on. What's up, Subliminal? How are you, buddy? I should say, does anybody want to come on? Connie stood me up like a cheap date. If anybody wants to come on and hang out, you're more than welcome. I had Toad. I was talking to him, and he may pop in later on if he gets a chance. But I talked to him, and Toad's going to come on the show. Probably not next week. The week after is Thanksgiving, so I doubt that's going to work. But maybe the week after that. Um, I thought it was actually going to be a pretty fun show if I could get Connie and Toad and myself all on. So, I mean, we'll just go with it and we'll see what happens. But to get back on to what I was saying is, uh, the grid is extremely fragile. And when the grid goes down at all, no matter large scale, small scale, you're kind of your our lives are so fully dependent on the electricity we don't even realize it. So like if you don't have a backup, you can't use your internet, you can't charge anything, there's no communications when the batteries die. So I'm bringing that up because I've just seen two different examples today of a socket on the outside of somebody's house. Both of them arced while we were there. Um, Man, I tell you, it's the craziest thing. Have a generator, have some solar, have something. Um, because it's really it's that important. I mean, even if you don't, let's just say you don't have an think about what happens. The power goes out. What happens? The lights go off, refrigerator goes off, the everything goes off, communication goes off. Anything that doesn't have a battery or a battery backup, you only have until the battery dies. And even the best batteries without a charge is probably only going to last you 10 hours. So I'm saying a lot of that just because it's fucking crazy, man. Like people don't think about it. It's just as simple as this. I go up to somebody's house. I say, we're going to be working on the lines outside. And I don't even have to do this. I do this just because I don't want to be an asshole and have people come out of their house. We're going to be working on the lines. The power's going to go out. It's going to be out for a little bit. This is when we're going to do it. Prepare yourself. And people forget that the garage doors are down. They don't remember that it needs power to go up. So it's always an older person. Go outside. You have to manually open their door for them because they're not thinking about it. And people don't think about it. Nobody really thinks about it until it happens. So I say this and I say this kind of often. When I put this kind of message out there, it's mainly because when this town went out a few years ago, I think I was the only person with a generator running, which is a little disturbing because when everybody is in the dark at nighttime and you're the only house with lights, uh, everybody's looking at you. And I don't like that. And people were walking up as I was outside and they're all trying to wonder what's going on. The whole town went out. The jail went out. The courthouse went out. Like the whole town went out. A giant tree fell on the substation. So I like to put this message out there, even though nobody listens, to tell people that, in part, what I'm asking for is for you to be prepared so that you're not looking at me as your resource now. Like, if I have food and you don't, what happens next? If I have lights and you don't, what happens next? It's just do a little bit of preparedness so that you don't have to be a victim of trying to take something from somebody that was prepared. I don't know if anybody can grasp this concept or what I'm trying to say, but if if you haven't, it's time. I'm telling you it's time. Scotty, what's up, buddy? Dude, Pawnee left me hanging. I can't believe it. Uh, I'm just hoping the dude's all right because I don't know if he was in that crash not too long ago, and I don't know if he had to go to the hospital or something. So I don't know, man. It's that when I think about it, I want to call him a faggot, but I also kind of realize that he was saying he couldn't remember things, and that's probably not good. Uh, maybe he didn't remember he had the show, or maybe he had to go to the hospital to get that checked out and didn't say anything. I don't know. Kind of weird though. I am excited to get Toad on the show. That'll be fun. That'll be fun. I'm really looking forward to that. Um, I don't know. I mean, I don't know quite. I think we'll just wing it with Toad, but I don't really know that there's some questions that I can ask. Yeah, maybe he was Masada. Maybe he was. All that calling to the Jews. I bet that was something about it. Um, I don't know, guys. I wasn't really prepared, and so I was just trying to wing it. Chili? What about chili? What do I need to know? Oh, he's prepared at least. Thousands of bottles of chili. At least he's got some food. Um, I need to ask this question. Feel free to chime in or not, but do you guys look at the preparedness thing at all like the way I do? Like, do you have food? You have food stored up? Uh, do you have a backup plan for power at all? I feel like I'm the only one sometimes out on an island. Like, hey, guys, I often give this. I often give this as sort of like the way that I see it. I see people standing on railroad tracks, and there's a train coming down the tracks. Like you can see it. That's outstanding, sub. You have no idea how much that warms my heart. Just to know that, like either I'm not the only one or that other people are also thinking about it. But I'm thinking about it like I'm watching people stand on the railroad tracks and I'm saying, "Hey, there's a train coming." And they go, "There's no train." And I'm like, "There's a train coming and you're standing on the tracks." And they go, "There's no train, there's no tracks." And I'm just like, "Dude, what?" That's where I feel like I'm at. Uh after the COVID situation, it's sort of like crazy. Like, like if that didn't wake you up to how fragile everything is, like everything can just be turned off like that. They're digitizing everything. Your money, you see what they're doing to people when they speak out about stuff that they don't like. If you talk about Israel in a way they don't like, they sue you. If you're not high profile enough, they'll ban you from every bank. Owen Benjamin went I it's crazy what he had to go through. He's not even like some huge where he's got millions and millions of followers, but they banned him from everything. Everything. He can't have PayPal, he can't have a bank account, he can't have any payment processor. Like it's crazy as hell. But I mean, I'm just saying to have it always comes down to this, to have a backup plan of some kind. Some kind. I don't know. I for each individual, I know that like especially money and now, but I've been screaming this for years. I've been saying for years, like while it's plentiful, while it's cheap, do it. And nobody really wanted to because they hadn't really seen anything and they don't see things the way that I see things. Like that there is something coming. I don't know exactly what it is. I can put a lot of guesses on it, but I mean, it just if nobody else gets that feeling when you look around, 50-year mortgages, does that make any sense to anybody? Or does it like it just seems like the system as a whole is like buying time. Like that they're trying to put off the inevitable as long as possible. I don't know that Mexico would be a good idea. Do you? Mexico's a good idea? I mean, I guess it could be if you know people, but it's wild now. What would happen if, like, stuff goes away? It is a nice place, though. I mean, relative to some other places, but I mean, like, I guess you wouldn't freeze. Guess that's an upside. Um, Either way, this is what I do. Uh, I I I have a family to take care of. I have people that depend on me. Uh, so I try to think about, how do I curb something that could be coming? How do I protect them, right? Let's see. Yes, gold, silver, copper. I actually have a giant pile of copper wire. Gigantic. It's all SE cable. It's massive and like crazy. But gold, silver is actual money. Everything else, the paper, it's currency. The ones and zeros on the computer, it's currency. It's different. It's not money. It's currency. And that's why currency can be manipulated in such a way. I 100% agree. Deep Mexico. Does it get better, deeper in Mexico? The deeper you go, the better it gets. Uh, yeah, I don't know, dude. It's just one of those things, man. I don't know. Again, this is the example that I always just picture in my head, and I can see it like now, even just like talking, like as I'm talking, it's like people kind of glaze over. They don't want to hear it. They don't want to hear it. Hey, you're on the railroad tracks and there's a train coming. No, there ain't. There ain't no tracks. There ain't no train. That's what I picture all the time. Um, but I mean, at least you got a plan. That's a good plan. Sup, you got people in Mexico? Do you have like family down there still or something? Deep in Mexico? Um, we have a building up on my property, and what I try to do is sort of make that the fallback position. Uh, what I try to do with it is like it's almost completely self-sustainable now. We have uh we have the chickens for food. We have crops that we can grow, and there's goats up there that they were in milk, but I'm so busy they're not in milk anymore. So there's deer that's running around, which during the Great Depression, white-tailed deer had almost went extinct because everybody turned to shooting them. And I hear a lot of people say that too, which is another crazy thing. I'll just go out in the woods and shoot deer. This is the stuff that makes me angry. Every person that doesn't wanna try to do anything to prepare for something that bad that might happen. I mean, it's like having insurance, right? Like, why do you have insurance? In case something bad might happen, right? That's all that I'm saying, have some insurance. Uh, they either think that they're gonna run off and live in the woods, shoot deer and eat squirrels and whatever, or they're gonna steal, which I find fascinating because I'm like, "How do you think that goes? Like, how many times do you get to steal before you get killed?" But there's people that have that plan. And the more that I'm in this realm, and the more that I think about, and the more people I talk to, the more people kind of reveal themselves in a way where they'll go, um, "Yeah, I don't care. I'll just go take from somebody." And they say it with a straight face, and they say it like there's nothing wrong with that. I'm saying this in part because if you're that guy, rethink that. You're going to get killed. And if you're not that guy, those people are out there and there's a lot of them. Like I've worked with guys on job sites and they're just the same people where it's like their plan is to go steal if anything ever goes sideways. And it doesn't have to be like Armageddon. That's my point. It doesn't have to be. It could just be the supply chain shuts down for more than a week. There's only 3 days of food where anybody is in the stores. Anything over 3 days, the trucks stop coming for 3 days or longer, the shelves are empty or they become very, very, very low before they're empty. So I just, I don't know. I know most of you guys probably don't hear much of this. considering some of the circles that we find each other in. But I just I think it's amazing how little people think about it, and I think in part it's because we haven't had to experience it as a society. You know, the fourth turning thing where like we don't we live in such luxury now that we don't even think about living without it. That's how much we have. I've heard a lot of people say that like, you know, we live better than kings right now. Like than kings did back in, you know, the 15, 1600s, which is accurate. I mean, they couldn't go and get strawberries in the winter. That's just one simple thing. Them castles were cold, man. Like they when it got cold, they were cold. There wasn't central air or heating or any of that other stuff. People are soft. People are soft. And they're not even looking at it like that. Technology plays a big role. That's definitely true. My point of that is that I work for the power company, and I can tell you that the power grid is extremely fragile. And it's so fragile that you should be considering that the technology might go away when the power goes out. But we do live better because of technology. I mean, just think about it. Amazon, right? You hit a button and a package shows up 2 or 3 days later at your door. That's some otherworldly shit. If you were to ask anybody 30 years ago, they'd never be able to imagine that. You mean you hit a button on a screen and you got it in 3 days? That's crazy talk. Just imagine where we're going though if all this continues. Robots. I mean, I think the robot thing is scary as hell for a lot of different reasons, even AI. But I mean, how do you get around it? If I could have it, yes, yes, yes. I got off topic, but I was just getting ready to say that we have a building up on the property that I built from scratch. Um, I built this building. I work on these massive job sites, and they throw away enough stuff that you could build two houses on off of each job site easily. It might not be the material that you exactly wanted, but it'll all work. Um, Drywall, insulation, wire, electrical boxes, exterior wood that's like $100 a board. Like it's the zip board. They just throw it away. They gave me 30 sheets of it because they were done with it. And it's $100 a board. It's got insulation on the back side of it. It's amazing. Shit. Uh, the my point of saying that I keep getting caught up, but my point of saying that is because I have this building that I built by myself on property that was just woods. I like to bring this up because it's an example. You can do this too if you want to, but I mean, it takes time, it takes energy, it takes some know-how, but you can do this shit. It's not as hard as you might think. When I bought my property, it was all woods, super thick. You could not walk through it. That's how thick it was. There was vines and big trees and little trees and bushes. There used to be houses up there many, many years ago, and the bushes that you see in front of people's houses, if you were to this I learned this from this process, but if you were to like knock down houses or they fall down, then bushes stay, they will seed and they will take over. They'll be everywhere. And just imagine an acre or two of bushes from in the front of a house, you know, like hedges. You can't walk through that, right? So, um, and I'm not rich, man. Like I don't have like all this money stored up. I just kind of work with what I got. Like I just do the best I can with what I got where I'm at. That's sort of one of my sayings. Do the best you can with what you got where you're at. Would it be better if I had more land? Yeah. Would it be better if that building up there was bigger? Yeah. But that's not what I have to work with. So my point of that is that the building is, I'd say at least 60, 70% of it was stuff that come off of job sites that I could use. Uh, Plywood. I mean, dude, I'm telling you, all kinds of stuff. Um, and we built it up. I'm trying to remember where I was at. We built it up after I cleared everything. Me and my wife was pregnant at the time. We cleared about a half an acre by hand. I didn't have any tools. I bought chainsaws back then. It was the first time I ever even had a chainsaw. I'm only starting to say all this so that it's a way for me to relay that you can do this too if you want to, but I'm sure most of you don't want to. Um, we cleared the land. We did everything we needed to do. I, by hand, built this property. It's got rainwater for collection, 275-gallon tank. It runs through a filtration system to keep it clean. I wouldn't drink it unless we boiled it first, but you can wash and you can do the basics outside of drinking. If you really wanted to drink it, there's stuff you can do to it, sanitation tabs and stuff like that, but it works. The power's all solar. And I've been shocked because I only learned about solar myself and how to apply it then. So the building's solar, it's got power, it's got water, it's got a toilet. I'm putting in a shower right now, and I put in a sink and some other things. But like we can go up there and stay. We go up there. I mean, you could actually live there if you wanted to. It'd be rough. But the next step right now, I ran all the gas lines for propane. The next step this weekend is to go pick up a big propane tank from Tractor Supply. My wife, so this is a tip just for anybody that might be paying attention. This is actually a thing I didn't know about till I talked to another farmer, but a lot of people, just to get the discounts from Tractor Supply, will work there 1 day a week. 1 day a week, and then you get the discounts. So like a large majority of their employees are 1 or 2 days unless they need the hours, and it's just simply to get the discounts. But they have one of them discount weekends this weekend. And so propane, and we're going to be able to use that to cook and to keep it heated. Although we have a wood burner for heat, but obviously, if you're not there to keep the temperature up, it's good to have like a propane burner that keeps it above freezing until you get there. Whatever you might be going somewhere, you might not be there for a day or two. Um, so what I'm saying is that like it's a work in progress, but it's working out. Now, the biggest step in this is going to be getting the well. It's like 20 grand to get a well dug. 20 grand. Hold on. 2,000 of undeveloped land. Oh, wait, you got some prospects? Oh, Alpine. Where's Alpine land? Where's that? Are you talking about the trees? You better not, if you're talking about trees, I'll tell you this. Any place you get, I'm sure most of you guys are intelligent enough to know how to physically run a chainsaw, but dropping a tree is a whole other thing. It's dangerous as hell. And there's some stuff that you kind of want to get your feet wet with before you jump into cutting down a big tree. But I mean, it's cool that like even having the thought process is cool as fuck. It makes me happy to hear that anybody's looking to do it. Um, There, for the record, because I seen a comment, I'm not telling you everything. I'm not telling you everything about the land. I'm trying to give some sort of a inspirational, which I doubt it is to anybody, but an inspirational um mindset that like if I can do it, you can do it. I grew up in Pittsburgh, bro. Like I was a city kid. Like I didn't grow up in the woods. You know what I'm saying? So solar panels to run a house. Now that's a good question. So here's the thing. It's for me, the way that I did it is when I first looked at it, I thought, this is a smallish building. It's about 3 times the size of an RV. But RVs run off solar, right? So what systems do they put in RVs that could apply to a small house? Because it would just be a big RV, right? Just without the wheels. That's just kind of the way I was thinking about it. So the way I look at it and the way I tried to do it was, what do you expect to use? It's not a one for one with the power company unless you got 75 grand. I don't even know what it is now to get that many batteries. Um, because the batteries are the main thing. So you need the panels to collect the power. You need an inverter to switch it from DC to AC. And the batteries dictate how much you're going to actually be able to use. if this makes any sense. And there's different systems. I'm not going to try and go down because this can get confusing, but 12 volt, 24 volt, there's even 48 volt. The cheapest way to go is 12 volt because a lot of the stuff for that can be cheaper. There's a cost to that. You have to pay a little bit more for the wire's got to be a little bit thicker. It doesn't really matter. But everything associated with 12 volts cheaper. And so if you can take what works in an RV and put it in a house, you're halfway there, right? So then you can build up from that. Let's just say all you're looking for is lights. That's easy. You only need a couple panels and a battery and an inverter. If you and the cool part is you can build on that. So get a big inverter, like I have a 2,000-watt inverter. Get a big inverter, and then you won't have to upsize unless you get real crazy. You can get a 4,000-watt, 3,000-watt inverter to start. They start to get pricey, but you got the inverter to start with, and then you can put more panels and put more batteries as time goes on if you want to wait to put more resources in and see to you actually want. But it's not a one-for-one with the power company. That's the catch, is that what do you expect to use? You're not going to be running a welder, right? I mean, if you are, then you're going to be spending a lot of money. But if you're just trying to get lights, put receptacles in the building for power, like we charge DeWalt 18, 20 volt batteries all the time. My system works for what we do. It gets different when you start getting into like motors. Do you want to run a refrigerator all the time? Are you going to be running it in the off peak hours? It's the demand. It's the demand. So like what do you expect to power? And then you have to build to that, but probably build it with the expectation that you're going to try to expand. So batteries and solar, you need batteries for solar. I'm not sure if that's what you're asking. If if you have uh you need batteries or that system won't work when the sun ain't out. That's the whole reason why they can't do this large scale for like cities. On an individual scale, on a house, solar is actually pretty cool. It takes an investment, it takes some know-how. You have to kind of know what you're doing. But on an individual level, like on a regular residential house, it's great. Like as long as you know what you're doing, it's going to take maintenance. The batteries, after some of them will last 8 to 10 years, but they may start to degrade. You may have to replace the batteries. But if all you have is a panel and an inverter, the only time it's going to work is when the sun's out. So you need batteries to store the energy, which is why it won't work large scale, like for cities, because they don't have the batteries for that. That's a lot of green, like all that green stuff. That it's bullshit, man. The whole thing is bullshit. Even with the wind turbines, those are a great alternative for um, an individual, like on a farm. Farmers used to have those, like the big wind turbines. They used to crush grain with them. You could use that and put a motor on it and sort of reverse engineer the thing to make power. But that will never work large scale because they don't have the capacity to build them with the batteries. They don't have the batteries that will work for that at all. All they can do is supplement the system during the day. That's it. That's all they can do. Even so, I said wind turbines. Wind turbines are the biggest scam ever. If you've never heard this before, let me tell you now. Everything it costs to put a wind turbine together uh, will never offset in its lifetime what it costs to put it there. Hundreds of tons of concrete, nickel, iron, steel, everything that like, and you think that it's green. You know how much petroleum is needed for those things? Hundreds and hundreds of gallons of grease, petroleum based, to keep it spinning. The whole thing's a big fucking scam. There's articles out there written on it. Um, the I can't remember the source. I wish I'd have known I was going to talk about this. I'd bring it up, but the what they say that it's capable of doing, and it's only like 30 years um, that they last. These wind turbines, 30 years. That's it. It will never offset their carbon because I hate that. Their carbon that it costs to put into it. Never ever do it. Um, and even the solar panels, what their cost to make, even the lithium batteries. The whole thing about the green stuff is a scam. And if you believe in it, after hearing this, you're a moron. I'm sorry to tell you, but if you're not a green person and you're just looking to try to become a little more self-sufficient and keep your lights on from them going out, this is a great way to do it. It actually works. but the whole thing, the whole carbon footprint, the whole green thing, it's a big lie, man. It's a big scam. Take it for whatever it's worth to you. Do a little research. I'm telling you, it's a big fucking scam. Um, I seen my wife in the comments. How you doing? Um, my all my friends stood me up. I guess I'm somewhat of a loser now. Thanks a lot, guys. Appreciate it. So I'm just winging it. Um, oh, but I went to say all that in part because it's a there's a lot that you could learn, but it's not as hard as you might think. So, like I said, what I did was a 12-volt system that would have been in an RV, put it into a building that I built, and started with a bigger inverter because you have to switch it from DC to AC. Yeah, well, I mean, for whatever it's worth, I kind of feel like it right now. But it's all good. You know, it is what it is. I just hope that this is not I hope that you're not right. Uh, I hope that he's okay. I hope that's what it is. Uh, I hope that, like, it's not I highly doubt that Connie would just bail unless there was a good reason, and I was actually listening to him yesterday shortly saying that he was forgetting things. I was hoping that it was a joke, but if he is forgetting things, that's a problem. That's not a good thing. Head injuries don't like, you can't always tell. The swelling sometimes takes a while, to actually realize what's going on. If he didn't get thoroughly checked out before they released him from the hospital, or if he just left, um, swelling in the brain is very serious. So, honestly, maybe we should just, stop, and I hope that Josh is okay. Look after him. I hope he's all right. If he's just uh, if he's just standing me up, go fuck yourself. Maybe, maybe. Um, dude, I'm trying. Honestly, I'm trying my best to not be a dick about it because it's possible, dude. He could be fucked up. I mean, who knows? Did you see that car? I mean, I was gonna actually tell him that when we were talking about batteries, that if he gets a chance to pull those batteries out of the car, those batteries are the most expensive part of that car. He said it was a Tesla. If it's actually an electric charging Tesla, those batteries are probably 50 grand. Uh, I was going to tell him though he should pull them out of there if he can get a chance because that is the most expensive part of those cars. Um, but for real, I hope he is all right. Uh, yeah, yeah, definitely. I mean, even if you didn't want to, um, there's just a lot of uses for them. Everything I was just talking about, they're lithium batteries. They're massive too. They're like 3 feet long. Uh, there's a lot you could do with them things if you wanted to try to go the route that I'm talking about. You'd probably need a lot of panels to charge them. But I mean, the batteries are the main cost. Like I use regular lead cell batteries because when I started lithium, it's just super expensive. It was just out of the question. But I can get one of the batteries that I use is a VMAX battery, and I just bought a fourth one and another 400-watt panels. I'm going to try to get them in before it gets too bad outside. But with that, uh, motors might not be a problem to run. So like that, just to bring it back, that's actually one of the bigger problems is like if you're going to have a refrigerator running all the time, those motors are what takes most of the power. And his Neuralink, he might need one. I hope he doesn't. How crazy would that be though? They got to drill a hole in his brain. You know that's how they do that? To relieve the pressure, they drill a hole in your head. Yeah. Drill a hole and put a tube in. Crazy, right? I really hope that's not the case. I'm trying not to beat him up too much. I mean, even the batteries, like they'll fucking explode. So lithium batteries and salt water equals explosion for whatever it's worth, like massive explosion. It's like a big ball of fire. And the other thing is with a lithium battery and those type of lithium batteries, you can't just like put that fire out. You can't. Like you have to have special equipment to put them out. Oh, that's a good one. Yeah. Yeah, we should keep that. I'm gonna do that. Yeah. Uh, I'm gonna keep that running whenever I do eventually talk to him. I I have to know. That was actually what I was gonna ask him. I have to know for like for serious. Are you seriously don't remember like an interview and you don't remember yesterday? I have to know because I don't know if he's joking around or not. Um, okay, so 40 minutes in. I'm gonna try to keep it simple. I'm gonna get out of here in under an hour. If you weren't here before, I'm just gonna say this. I talked to Toad. Toad's gonna be coming on. He was actually gonna maybe make it tonight, but he was busy. So he was gonna try to like squeeze in some time to get in here. Next week, Not Nice Guys coming on. Uh dude, if you're watching, let me know. But I mean we maybe all three of us, me, Not Nice Guy, and Toad, next week, maybe. If not, if that's not doable, then I'm gonna get him on after Thanksgiving. So that should be a fun show, I think, anyway. Hang out with Toad. I can only imagine, you know? Um, yeah, Not Nice Guy. I'm gonna have to message him. What do you guys think? Should I try to get Not Nice Guy and Toad and myself on? Sound like a good idea? Toad's actually a really cool dude. I couldn't believe he said yeah. I was actually kind of shocked. I just said, "You want to come on my shitty show?" And he was like, "Hell yeah." Oh, when you want to do it. So, yeah. Um, yeah. Okay. Mm. Yeah, I think that could be a good show. Well, there was something I was going to say to wrap it up. Have a backup plan. Have a backup plan. Um, I'm telling you from experience that you don't quite know what it's like to have the power go off and never know when it might come back on and what that means for long term. Your food's going to go bad if it's any longer than 12 hours if you can't open the fridge. Um, your food's going to go bad. No lights, no power. Um, guys, please have a backup plan. And I say this just because half-heartedly, if there's people out there that are not prepared, it's a liability for guys that are prepared. And I don't want liabilities. If everybody has a generator, nobody's trying to steal a generator, or at least some people are not trying to steal a generator. Uh, think about it, man. Think about it. It's kind of what I started doing all this for to and so I made the channel in part to kind of remember what it was like when we started so the kids could relive it. So that they could go back on the YouTube channel and see, this is what dad and mom did whenever they were fixing stuff up. What the property used to look like, because it's day and night now. Like you wouldn't, it's not the same place. People that there's a company that cuts trees down for the power line for the place that's adjacent to where we are, and they need my road to get access up to it. And a lot of them are actually shocked at how different it looks now too. So it's a big change, and it's just like, how do I put this? It's gonna be easy for me to say because I know a lot of people don't want to do it. It takes work and commitment and money, but if you want it, you can do it. And it's really not as hard as you might think. And it's not all just work. It's fun if you're into that. It's fun watching, to give an example, watching animals acclimate to the land and actually start having babies. And then watch those babies acclimate to the land where there really wasn't much life before. I built a small pond. I've seen goldfish have babies in that pond. There's something to me that like that's extra special. Where it's like I created this, and there's now generations of life that are thriving in it. So that's just one small thing that's actually really cool about it. Um, and then there's a shit ton to learn. When you know about animals, I said this before, I'll just say it again. When you know about animals and you know how to control animals, it makes you be able to see how you're being controlled. It's a lot easier to see the control mechanisms when you know how to control animals because they treat us like animals. Fear is the biggest driver. That's what they use all the time. And think about it, just they use dogs to herd sheep. Why? Because the sheep don't, they're scared of the dog. The dog barks and yells and they run, right? Like there's all of those things, right? That's just one small example. Food. Food. You control the food, you control the behavior, right? If I drop food in the same spot all the time, they'll always go back to that spot looking for food. People do the same thing. They do. Uh, if one of them's a liability, if you get a rooster that's real crazy and all he does is start attacking things and attacking people, because that happens, he got to go. Do you think that doesn't happen while they're trying to control everybody? That's exactly what it is. The ones that become ornery, the ones that become too much of a pain in the ass, they got to go, right? There's just so many aspects to nature and farm life that once you learn even a cursory level, it starts to change your perspective on the world that we live in. I hope that makes sense because, some people just don't get it. You'd be surprised. They glazed over. Uh, but I think I'm going to end it in a couple minutes. So, really kind of disappointed. My co host had a party to go to. My guest, hopefully, still alive somewhere. I hope he's okay. Um, and I just winged it. I wish I'd have known because I could have prepared something a little better than just talking. Um, if there's anything for what I'm doing, if anybody's curious about it, let me know in the comments. I don't have any problem doing a live or making a video about something you might be curious about. You want to see the solar? I'll give you a walkthrough. I'm actually doing a remodel up there right now. It's actually going to turn out pretty nice. So if there's anything that you want to know, anything at all. And one tidbit, I told this to Connie before, is that uh, we we had ideas about what we wanted to do on the property. Me in particular had ideas. I have an orchard up there. There's about 30 different fruit trees. A bunch of them, they're peaches. Why are they peaches? Because the peach trees like that ground. The peaches are thriving up there. We got a lot of peaches, and next year there's going to be a ton. Like we're going to have to sell them. There's going to be so many. But the apples that I did want to grow don't grow that well up there. So if you're thinking about doing something like this, you have to get the land and you have to kind of experiment with it because food forest, like Matt talks about, it's an awesome thing to cultivate it. Um, but I don't want to create something that can't be permanent. Like I don't want to have to go up there and make sure the soil's pH is blah 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 and have to worry about tilling and changing everything and fertilizing all the time. What works on the land that you have? Cultivate that and build from it, right? I suspect that the apples will come through at some point. They're just probably not as likely to do it as easily as the peaches are. I seen these peach trees double in a year as far as size. And we didn't even get a lot of rain last year, so it's actually pretty cool. Um, chickens, so I should just say this: if you're thinking about doing this and you don't have animals, start with chickens. Chickens by far is the starting point. Minimum of 3, 5, uh, and get a good rooster. I had a rooster kill a hawk right in front of me before. Jersey Giants, they sit about 2.5 to 3 feet tall, and once they get to their mature height, they're like any other male that's trying to protect a flock. You don't necessarily need the rooster, but it's a great addition because it kind of makes the hens comfortable and you can get more chickens out of it. You need the male, right? Uh, but some areas are not allowed to have males because of how loud they can be, but uh, if you have to, you need a flock. Like, don't get one chicken. Don't get two chickens. They need a flock. So 3 to 5, and you can go off to the races at that point. Pawnee is not showing up. Asbut, what's going on? Do you know? Is he okay? I'm hoping that he didn't just stand me up, because I'd have to punch him in his face if I seen him. I'm hoping that something happened. So if you know anything, uh, let us know. I was actually, truth is a little worried about the guy. I know he said he was having some problems after the accident. I'm hoping that's all that it is. Um, if not, I'm gonna fight him when I see him. Just give him a heads up. Uh, but yeah, 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 yeah. That's what I was saying is that I don't know if so. Just for clarification, I spoke to him before the accident, and I spoke to him after the accident, and I clarified it that if you're not good, that's fine. He said he got banged up, and then I talked to him again yesterday before you guys did your show, and he said no, I'm good, and I haven't. He hasn't DM'd me back since then. So honestly, that's why I'm getting. I was just a little worried about him. The thing about head traumas, by the way, concussions, you go to sleep with a concussion, you can go into a coma. So I'm really keeping my fingers crossed. I'm just fucking around. I don't want to fight him. Uh, but I hope he's all right because stuff like that can happen. So anyway, we're coming up on an hour and I'm just here babbling and blapping. So thank you guys for everyone tuning in. Next week, not nice guy. And I'm going to try to get Toad in on that day. And if not, we'll have Toad on probably the week after Thanksgiving. Appreciate everybody watching, guys. Thanks for listening to me babble on. Asput, if you do get a chance to talk to him, just tell him to message me so I know that he's all right because I'm going to be forced to say prayers for him until I find out. All right. You guys have a good night.